Today I want to talk about coming out and some of the things they didn't tell you about coming out, and some more things just like how why I come out actually, why I'd like to come out. One most important thing that they never say about coming out and all that sort of thing is you can't just do it once. Like that would be wonderful if you could just be like, "Hey, I'm asexual. Everybody knows. The world knows," and it's just easy. I guess you could wear like a shirt or something like that that stated it to everybody. But if you don't want to be like that or do that, then you probably have to come out to everybody individually. So that's a little interesting because your tactics have to change for pretty much everybody. Um, that's fun. And the second thing too is also because it's not like coming out as um as gay or anything else or bi or whatever. Like it's not like those aren't hard, but asexual stuff is going to be harder to understand for everybody, and it's because it's less known to. It's going to be harder for people to understand immediately. So you have to be kind of understanding. Like it sucks. Like yes, we should live in a world where it's just like instantly, just like, oh yes, I understand. I accept you for whatever you are because you're still the same person. Um, but that doesn't happen yet, and it doesn't mean like they don't love you or any of that sort of thing, but they can say quite a lot of hurtful things, and it'll take them some time generally to kind of understand or get around that, and sometimes they might never. Which sucks. It does, but for the most part, yes, I don't think I've had very many good coming out experiences. Um, but that isn't to say it's not important, and some of the reasons why it helps to come out. I'd never believed in really coming out necessarily as asexual just because, well, I just don't like. It's something I don't feel people have to know about me. But just because I feel that way doesn't mean it's not something that wouldn't actually make it a lot easier. That's why I've started coming out and that sort of thing. Just because it makes it easier conversing with people if they understand that sometimes, especially, well, it's depending upon how intimate you're going to be in a sort of relationship, like if it's person just passing on the street or that sort of thing. I mean, they don't need to know. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't. And I've always felt that I should be treated like a person, like the person who I am, versus just a label that I can attach. Um, but I also need that label occasionally, especially with people you're a little more intimate with or just converse with more, for them to understand, so that way it doesn't lead to a lot of misconceptions later. Um, because I've had a lot of times where if I didn't come out and stuff like that, they'd just there'd be a whole lot of trying to figure out what I was or how I would react to things, and I much prefer coming out as asexual just because I have gotten that innocent sort of thing label placed on me, which I don't want. I don't want, because I'm not, just because I don't like care about sex and just have zero like care for it doesn't mean I don't want to hear about it. Doesn't mean if it's important to you I don't want to listen. Doesn't mean I don't want to understand it like as much as I can. Um, and so that's kind of really my only reason for coming out as asexual, is just because it's not because I'm like uninterested. I just don't personally care for it. Um, and I like people to know that because I like to converse with people. I like to just go about things the same way. Um, sorry, I say a lot too. I'm so sorry about that. But stop myself. Those are the most things I've noticed about coming out as asexual, or just coming out in general. And for coming out, I have looked up like a lot of different videos because it's hard to do not being it's an awkward thing to just pull up, and I've always wondered just like how do you come out to people just on like an average basis, like just on a day to day, somebody you want to be friends with, and you just like you want to say this so they can have that understanding, but it's really really difficult to just say this casually. Um, what I've tried recently, because I just had started another work, so I had a lot of coworkers I was working with, and I felt the need, not necessarily the need, I haven't come out to all of them actually, but just certain ones, like whenever kind of a topic arised about like sexuality and that sort of thing, I just like tried to find like a sweet spot to be like, oh yes, I'm asexual, or I don't care about those things because I'm asexual. Um, and just try to slip that in casually. Um, it's a little difficult. And I'll say, actually, the only good coming out experience I've had has been. Or wait. So, the interesting thing, too, is for me, I've never actually just, like, questioned my, like, sexuality at all. Like, I know quite a few aces have been like, oh, am I bisexual, or all that kind of thing, or, like, am I gay, or all these kinds of other labels, and I never thought about that ever. I had always thought that whoever I truly love, it shouldn't matter what gender they are or whatever. But I didn't feel the need to put a label on that at all. I just thought that was just like what love was, if you really love somebody. And I also just, if anything, I felt, I guess I was just old fashioned. Probably just because I believed that everybody else was asexual, and sex was only to have children. And so from that, I was just like, oh yes, I'm just your average Joe, just da 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 da. There's no need for me to find a label. And it was actually quite a lot of friends that found the label for me later on. And as I tried, once I finally got that label, and I was like, oh my goodness, that's true. And then I started trying to come out to a few people, and people, that I was more intimate with and knew, and like people in the drama department and stuff like that. And I came out, and they're just like, "Oh yeah, we knew." And I'm like, "Oh okay." Apparently everybody knew except me. That was great. You guys kept that hidden from me. Why? Um. So I think the most important thing is just to keep. It's really important just to keep everything. I like to keep everything as open and honest as I can, to keep from getting into any misunderstandings that there could be. I don't like not understanding, and that's the biggest reason for me is I don't like not knowing. I don't like making people feel bad or that sort of thing just because like they think they can't talk about things with me. It makes me very sad. And I also think I lose a lot of like people from it because there gets to be less and less we can talk about. Um, and I think I might go into that a little bit more. But yes, coming out is difficult not to do awkward, especially the first few times you've done it. It's just kind of like, and then I'm asexual. Oh gosh, I want to hide in a rock. Like it's not really something you need to know, but kind of is, and just bleh. And as I've said before, I haven't had very good coming out experiences, even with them being a little bit more smooth or just blanketed out there. I haven't had good luck with family, and I haven't told many family. I've only told my dad. Um, but I kind of assume everybody kind of already knows as well. They just don't have the title yet for it. Um, and my roommate doesn't know. I haven't told her. But again, it's not really something I feel the need to tell you unless like there's certain circumstances or situations, or depending upon the intimacy of the relationship and that sort of thing. So otherwise, it's unimportant. As far as coming out to dates, I guess that's the thing. Like, people who want to date me and stuff like that, I try to say I'm asexual right off the bat, and it's not because I want to like scare them away at all. I'd love to date people, at least a first date, but I want them to know the firsthand like what they're getting into. I'm probably not going to be somebody you actually really want to date, but I'm not opposed to first dates. But I might go into more of that in another video. All right, bye.